Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors and Winston Chester. Glad you're here this morning. Got a great show lined up with some really good information on some fishing. But right now, our weather brought to us by Haney Technical Center at the corner of Baldwin Road and Highway 77. All kind of information you can get there and any kind of career you want to pursue, especially some of the programs in nursing and welding and all kind of good stuff over there. So run by and check those folks out. Weather today is going to be a high of 89, low of 74, and the water temperature remains at 84 degrees. It's in great shape right there. Everything looks good. Now let's take a look at river readings. The Apalachicola Bluntstown, it's been a steady, in really good shape. I know a lot of you folks like to fish the river. It's at 2.3 this morning. A lot of y'all, when it gets under 3 foot, you really get excited. So right now it's at 2.3. It's going to be there all weekend. Let's move over to our twin river over here. Let's see, we got it right here upside down, but it's still flowing. Okay. It's in good shape. It's got a little bit of a bump coming up now. Right now, this morning, it's reading at 5.2. It's going to be rising today, and tomorrow night, about midnight, it's going to be at about 6'3". But if you want to fish some falling water, Saturday morning, it's going to be falling Saturday morning, so you can fish a high incoming river rising there Friday afternoon, and also then on Saturday morning, you fish it falling out, whichever your choice, okay? Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery. And their motto is when carrying counts. They're located right here on 23rd Street. We're in those neap tides. We have actually 4 tides when you have neap tides. So high, low, but just not any kind of that big curve we like to see. But I've had afternoons I've been fishing off my dock, and there's a lot of activity. I love fishing late afternoon, especially after rain or something. It's really good topwater fishing or live bait fishing, just whatever you want to do, a lot of activity. So the tide's not moving really strong then, but we're still getting some good activity. So be aware of that. You still, if you got a bit of wind and all, you get a good drift going, so it's good, still good fishing and all, okay? Marine forecast will be coming out of northwest at 5 to 10 today. So be a comfortable day on the water, not much. Air a little bit drier now, so it's going to be a lot more comfortable on the water than it has been the past couple of weeks, okay? Now, once a week, we like to call down to the eastern end of our viewing area and talk to folks down there, see what's going on. We have a lot of viewers down that area. And our sponsor down there, Blue Water Outriggers, and our spokesman for them is Captain Blair Morgan. Good morning, Blair.
Good morning, Winston. How's everybody doing?
Oh, we're doing good, buddy. What's going on down there?
Well, out here in St. Joe Bay, of course, it's been raining the last couple of days. The weather's been kind of bad, but people are going scalloping, and they're still getting a lot of scallops. Most of them are small this time of year. But our guests in town, they go out and they have a good time. They'll go out and get a mess to eat one time, and that's about it. And most of the local people haven't even been yet. They're going to wait till they get bigger, towards the end of the season. And as far as the trout out here, there's some people going out and catching trout on live bait early in the morning, late in the evening. Most of them's either fishing out of kayaks or wade fishing. So it's been pretty good.
Okay, what about the surf? I was down there last week and surf fishing. The water was really clear and really clean, looked really pretty. And last week they were still catching pompano. They're still catching some down there?
Well, I tell you what, that'd be the same thing I ever seen. Yeah, last week the water looked like the Bahamas out here. It was just beautiful, clear and blue, and just really pretty. And there were some people from Georgia that was catching the limit several days in a row, pompano, and that's just kind of strange for this time of year, but they were doing it.
Yeah, usually we get bothered with a lot of grass in the water and all that, but I was surprised even last week because this time of year it slowed down and you get the catfish and the crabs and all that, but that's a good report on the pompano.
Yeah, they doing real good. And the tarpon, they kind of been hit and miss. They hadn't really showed up too much yet. I hadn't seen any really busting, any schools busting in the pogies or nothing, and there's some of the guides, they're catching one here and there, but hasn't been real good.
And you've been able to do good on your freshwater?
Yeah, listen, I got a chance to go this past week, and I had an hour or two to kill, so I got my fly rod old brim on a popping bug and had a ball.
Oh, man.
Big old red-breasted brim.
That sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I had the ball.
All right, Blair. Thank you so much for that report, buddy. We appreciate it.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thank you now. All right, folks, that wraps up on the report from there. We're going to take our break. We're going to come right back, and we've got some really good stuff coming up. So you stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us this morning. We're going to get started on this little segment. Got a few pictures. We'll get these pictures in on a regular basis, and what it does is it's a great reflection of what's going on every day here in the Florida Panhandle. It's such a blessing now to get all these pictures in so regular. So let's take the first picture right here. Pierce Etienne, good job there. Freshwater fishing. Now, I met Pierce before. I coached his mom in girls basketball years ago. I'm glad that she's got him fishing off the dock right there. Beautiful place to fish. I'm not sure where they are. All right, next picture. Cute young lady, graduated. She was in my class, and she's ready for hunting season. She dressed up the other day. She and her husband getting ready to go hunting. She said, wow, only 3 more months before bow season. That's Patricia Harbuck. And she works at the St. Andrew Bay Nursing Center there where my mom is. So I get to see Patricia on a regular occasion. All right, check this out. This is a great picture. Mark Thomas. Good job, Mark Thomas, wrapping up the snapper season in style. Good job. Okay, and off the kayak, Brandon Barton. That is a good-sized red snapper to catch off of a kayak right there. And you see he's in some good calm water. You don't want to get out in rough water in a kayak. How about a 4-pound mullet out of St. Joe Bay? Kenny Moore caught these, and Kenny he was out there casting it all. He said he saw a bunch of sharks in St. Joe Bay this past week, but that's a 4-pound mullet, folks. You don't usually see one that big. That's a hunk right there. And we're talking about some neat things to do with kids, and just getting a canopy, just getting some kind of tarp and all. I want to show you the different configurations you can set up on a canopy, and just let the kids give them a pole and a rope or two and just one tarp, and just let them set their own little tent up in the backyard. There's all kind of configurations. I do this with my outdoor camping class. That's like a regular tent there, like a little lean-to here, and it's a neat stuff to do. And this is what I like about this is use some creativity and all. And one more picture there. And here's one more way to do it. And a good way to do it. And I used to do a lot of backpacking, working on Appalachian Trail and all. And some guys with us. I had a little tent, but a lot of guys just took something like this and slept overnight in it. Okay. Here's a good. This is not a local picture, but every now and then I like to grab one from another area. But isn't it a great idea? These guys with a chainsaw, they're so talented, and so instead of wasting that tree, made a beautiful carving out of it. Okay, here's Lindsay, too, and her brother. That's not bad, fishing off the family pond up there. Lindsay, too, good job. She just graduated this year out of my class. Thanks for sending the picture. Carolyn Poole sent a picture of her next fishing rig. Okay, very economical, but I hope you can catch one, get one bigger than that, Carolyn. Okay, don't forget now, this weekend, now we talked about the Emerald Coast Redfish tournament goes on a lot this weekend. July 19th, they're doing over in Destin. Mark Coward will be able to fish, and he and Michael will be fishing it. Then next month it's going to be in Panama City. But listen, you can still enter this. Those numbers on the bottom right there, or look online, Emerald Coast Redfish Club. You can fish these anytime. And I think right now, Mark said he and Michael are in 7th place in this series. So jump in there and do it. It's a fun day of fishing with these guys. They're very competitive, and they do a good job with it. Okay, one more picture here. This boat for sale. This was sent to me. Terry James up there in Mariana. It's 1986, 18-foot Bayliner, center console, 115 Mercury, all aluminum trailer. The motor needs some footwork, but all the parts are there. $1,800, folks. That's a good buy right there. The trailer's worth that much. And here's the phone number. Terry James, 557-2083. That's a phone picture, a little fuzzy right there. Let me give you the number one more time. 557-2083. Okay? And that takes care of our picture right now. Got a report on June grass. You know, this time of year, well, actually about a month or so ago, June grass was coming in and all, but and it comes in stages. Sometimes it comes in really bad, and sometimes it sort of slacks off. Right now, the report this week is pretty bad on Panama City Beach, all the way down to the west end. But down in Mexico Beach, I've talked to some people down there that said it's pretty clear. And I was at the Cape the last couple of days. It's been clear on the Cape. It had come in. We had some grass on the beach, but the water is really nice and all. So, now I may switch around next week or two, but that's the report for, upcoming this weekend, all right? Let's take this break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Let's take a look at our fish and game forecast for today. Our time brought to us by Mark Coward of Edgewater Beach Realty. You're looking right there on your screen. You're looking at our time 5:13 to 7:13 this morning, and this evening from 5:38 to 7:38. And I really enjoy this time of year when we get a chance to I fish off my dock late in the afternoon. And these times, they're really active now, especially if a rain has come through or something, and you've had an opportunity to just get out there. But remember, the sand gnats are bad, so you got to dress in long sleeves and long pants. But it's fun to fish in late afternoon in the summertime, one of my favorite times. So, but now I want to cover a little bit of, and I've been wanting to do this for a while. I mentioned it before. I've never gone into detail with it. I want to talk about tarpon fishing, and I get a kick out of. We get some folks that move in, some sportsmen move in, and then all of a sudden it's like a secret. They start. We found some tarpon over there. Don't tell anybody, folks. We've had tarpon here forever, but what has happened, I want to explain to you why people feel this way, like we just found them again. And here's what has happened. When I was doing the book, I kept running across some research on tarpon and different articles on tarpon, and at that time when I did the book, it wasn't that big of a deal. So I started checking in on it, became intrigued with the tarpon fishing here. And what happened, I just started building a file on tarpon fishing, thinking I was going to do a little segment in the book on tarpon fishing. And lo and behold, I started finding some really good stuff. So here I'm taking some excerpts out of my book. So if you don't get enough information, just go back to my book, and I'll tell you the page numbers. It's in pages 96, 97. But anyway, right here, one of the first things I ran across, Wallace Caswell, the fishing guide. Look here, the time is approaching for the Silver King. The Silver King tarpon. Okay, make your arrangements to go fishing with me. I have both Wallace Caswell Jr. What an amazing man he was, and he didn't have any children. I didn't get a chance to talk to a lot of his family, but I talked to friends of his that knew him years ago. And so I started thinking about it. So I'm going to pull out different tarpon guides. Wallace Caswell was a big guide. Lee Porter was a big guide right there. He in the 30s and all, in 1928 and 30s. This is a large tarpon. That's Lee Porter, and he was an excellent guide. And up in the 50s, right after World War II, Captain J.B. Matthews, and he passed away. But I got to talk to his widow. He was a big fishing guide also for tarpon. Okay, different ones. So, but I want to go into detail a little bit. I'm going to show you this picture here. I just want to read you some of the excerpts from it because it's fascinating. Okay, what happened? The earliest recorded was right here. Now, this was not here, but in July of 1903, folks. That's over 100 years ago. They're catching tarpon here. A fishing party from Franklin, Tennessee. Dr. W.B. Cliff, his brother, and W.W. Berry, a whole group of them came down from Franklin and Nashville. And according to the newspaper, now this is a fishing story here because this is exaggerated. It says they caught 25 tarpon weighing between 250 and 300 pounds. Now that each, but we know they were not that big, but they didn't have any scales in. But they caught a bunch of large tarpon. That was one of the first recorded catches right there. And it goes on down in the 20s and 30s. It's talking about Captain Otway Ware and those other guys I just mentioned being different captains. Wallace Caswell he fished out of the Cove Hotel. People come stay at the Cove Hotel, then he'd take them fishing. Captain Porter fished up there in Lynn Haven at the Lynn Haven Hotel. He would take them out of there. And then another guy fished out of St. Andrew Bay Sportsman Club, which is on Anderson Bayou where the country club is up there. There was a little St. Andrew Sportsman Club, a little house up there. And it went on to say the tarpon, it talked about, here are the places they caught them. Here's what was fascinating. The hottest spot now, everybody knows it's Crooked Island Sound, but the hottest spot in those days was North Bay. They would catch them a bunch of them out of North Bay, and they caught them, this is before the dam was built, they caught them as far up as Bear Creek and up in Bayou George. They caught tarpon in Bayou George. But in 1931, there was a doctor, notice all these doctors doing the fishing, from Ithaca, New York. He caught a 15-pound tarpon while he's trout fishing 2 miles up Sandy Creek. That's unheard of. So in 1920s, they even had a tournament in 1929, and Pfluger donated 2 reels, 2 6/0 reels for the tournament, and they had a first place and second place reels. And it was 1929, and a lot of folks came there and fished it, and it was a really good article on it. And what happened then, here's the story. What happened then, the Depression hit in 29, so we didn't have that many people coming down tarpon fishing. And then next thing, you had World War II, okay? And so then in the 50s, you had a little bit of tarpon fishing coming back. But in 1963, here it is right here in the book, Captain Joe Knowles, in 1963, he caught the first blue marlin in this area. And when he did, all those doctors and loggers and all who came in here fishing for the tarpon, they quit fishing for tarpon. They started coming fishing for the billfish, for the blue marlin. So then that's when tarpon fishing just sort of died, just went away. So there's not much tarpon fishing in 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And around 2000, a little bit earlier, around 2000, it's sort of kicking back off. That's why people say, well, there's tarpon here. Tarpon has always been here. They're still up in North Bay. They're still in West Bay, and they're all over the place. You heard Blair said down at Indian Pass, but people now starting to fish for them. But that's the history of it. It was replaced by the blue marlin. All these sport fishermen came in, but now you have some guys starting to specialize again in tarpon fishing. So we've always had them. It's some great stories in there in the book, and there's some. I was very fortunate to find those pictures and do that little story on the tarpon. I enjoyed it. I really got caught up in it. It was intriguing on how all that happened. Okay? All right, let's take our break and we'll be right back. Okay, now one thing too on the tarpon, I didn't finish up on it. If you're catching tarpon today now, if the tarpon is larger than 40 inches, you cannot take them out of the water for a picture. If they're less than 40 inches, you can hold them and take a picture. I'd recommend just keep them in the water, lean down in the water like I did on my picture, and just have it snapped right there with them, horizontal in the water. You still see the size of them. You're right next to them. So anyway, let's change venues over from tarpon to sharks. Now, I get an awful lot of pictures, and I'm starting to get some videos and all locally, and there's just a ton of stuff on YouTube. I've sort of been hesitant about showing a lot of stuff on YouTube because it's all over the world and all. I try to keep everything here local, but every now and then I see some really fascinating stuff from the Keys and over in Mobile and all. So on occasion I'm going to start showing some stuff off of YouTube. But right now, this is just a local fisherman, a commercial fisherman out of Wakulla. He's right off St. George Island, and his name's Eric Thompson, and he's being a commercial fisherman now. He can, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can start rolling this. Okay, here it is right here. So he gets into some sharks over there, and this just the other day, a couple days ago, he starts chumming the water a little bit, and he sees 1 or 2 sharks there, and he starts seeing the birds coming. Now, being a commercial fisherman, he knows exactly what's going to happen. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 out there, and this is right off the coast of St. George Island. He's just he was saying he was just not far from the coast at all. And we talk about. I bring this up because we just had a recent shark bite over here in Fort Walton Beach, where the guy was bit on the ankle. He's from Tennessee, and he was bit on the ankle. So they're just cruising. They know there's some food around right there. We've always had sharks like the tarpon. We've always had them. And they're not going to go away. They're going to always be here. And you'll see them. They'll go into feeding frenzies. I know a lot of y'all will get ready for Shark Week and all on the Discovery Channel, but these are pictures taken all over the world. But this is right here locally, off of St. George Island, and that's some good, healthy sized sharks right there. All right, throw some more. All right, throw some more chum in there. See what starts happening. Boom, boom, boom. They don't differentiate between the leg or the arm or whatever. They're just going for the food. You see the birds flying. Those birds, look at it. That is a shark frenzy right there. They just look at them. Yeah, I believe they're all bull sharks. You're right. Okay, good job there. Thank you for getting us that. But just be aware that we do have sharks, and if someone's out fishing, and they mentioned this, the shark expert here locally mentioned this the other day. If a lot of folks out there fishing, that means there's bait in the water. So if you're a swimmer, then you don't want to get sort of, all close to those fishermen and all. So whoever's there first, I think, would have the right of way. I do the same way fishing. If somebody's fishing a spot, I go somewhere else. So if I see some swimmers, I'm going to start fishing. I see some swimmers over here, I'll go down here and fish and all. I don't want to get close to them. So be aware of that. Okay, now Tonight, the Bay Fly Fishing Club is going to be meeting at 6:30. They meet once a month on each side of the bridge. This month they're going to meet over at Panama City Beach at the Sunnies over there. Next month it'll be the Sunnies in Lynn Haven. They alternate. 6:30. Those guys love fly fishing. You don't have to be an expert on it. Just go there and learn a lot. They'll sit down and talk about tying flies and different things about fly fishing. And you heard Blair said earlier he's catching some nice brim and shell cracker on flies right now. And the saltwater fly fishing is excellent. So if you get a chance, go there and join those guys. Next supermoon, they're asking about when the next supermoon, because it had a lot of something to do with outdoors. A lot of people didn't catch anything on supermoon, but 2 days after the supermoon, you can really catch some fish. And the next one we're going to have will be August the 10th. So go ahead and put it on your calendar, like on the 12th, August the 12th and 13th. There's going to be some excellent fishing. Go ahead and plan you a good fishing trip then. If you're into hunting down in South Florida, you only have 15 days before the season opens up. Okay, August the 2nd, bow season opens up down there in South Florida. All right, I wrote down here coyotes. Be aware of coyotes this time of year. Jeff and I have been comparing. We have what we call a Jinx Avenue coyote, and I've seen them. I visit the St. Andrew Bay Nursing Center right there off Jinx Avenue, right close to 23rd Street, on a pretty regular basis, almost daily. And I've seen this coyote several times, like at 4:30 in the afternoon. Jeff was coming in to work the other morning. He's seen them on Jinx Avenue, so you don't see a lot of cats and all in that area. And the reason is because those coyotes are taking care of any kind of stray cat. Lynn Haven, folks in a residential community up there, I got a call the other day. They're having a big problem with coyotes getting their pets. And so be aware of it if you're leaving your pets out at night or something, and in any kind of little wooded area, they'll make their home anywhere in there. So be aware of those. I got several more things to talk about, but we don't have time to get to it. I do want to remind you again about the Fly Fishing Club meeting. You get a chance to go to that. Now, tomorrow will be our famous Friday fishing forecast. We're going to be giving away a $20 gift certificate to Tarpon Dock, big old red snapper from Tarpon Dock, and Brad's going to be on. We're going to talk about kayak and all kinds of stuff. So tomorrow will be a great day on Panhandle Outdoors. So be sure and watch us. As always, we appreciate you watching our show. You do something good for someone today. Enjoy the great outdoors, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.